Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1. The 3 Golden Rules. Written by Jeremiah Hellrider. In the Galactic Empire, there are 3 golden rules that each one of the 345 elector species needs to follow if they want to survive. Never fight against the Galactic Emperor alone. Never let your population starve. And always pay your mercenaries. Since the day Grand Emperor Dallas I united all nations in the galaxy under the rule of his galactic empire, there had been relative peace across the galaxy. Each one of the sentient species in the empire were considered electors who decided galactic laws in the Grand Assembly held every 10 years. They all had a couple systems close to their home planets and were left to themselves to grow as they wished, as long as they did not challenge the power of the Grand Emperor. But of course, sometimes electors did fight each other, and even formed coalitions against the Emperor himself. Of course, the Emperor always had more power than the electors. As the borders of the Empire grew, so did the elector species. In 563 AE, after Emperor, the galactic community welcomed humanity into the Empire as they had finally discovered FTL technology and were very close to the borders of the Empire. Humanity had recently gone through a very large war, and they really needed the economic help that the Empire would provide. So they gladly joined as the 346th Elector of the Empire. At first, humanity adapted well to the environment of the Empire. Trade and mining deals were made with companies and other species. Huge amounts of human books, poems, pictures, and more were sent to the Imperial Archives to add to the galactic collection. Humans even made a name for themselves as great mercenaries since they had been fighting for years before joining the Empire. But humanity was also surrounded by enemies on all sides. Many resources in hand around the human-owned solar systems were still untapped. Resources that some wanted for themselves. In particular, there were large quantities of the ore Dalaphos, similar to the Imperial Palace, 3,947 children every year, and approximately 4,568 planets. This ore was named after the first emperor, which was used in ship armor building. The problem was the fact that Dalaphos was not a very common, and in order to extract it from a planet fast, you needed to destroy large parts of the land and drain huge amounts of fresh water. So, anyone who wants to buy human Dalaphos had to wait for long amounts of time before receiving it. At the same time, the Emperor Saslos I was getting ready to put down one of his electors and had a couple of other species who were starting to challenge his power through a coalition. So Saslos needed a lot of Dalaphos for his battleships. Sadly for him, most of the Empire's Dalaphos supply had held by the coalition against him, so he turned to the humans for his needs. After realizing that he could never get enough ore to build his ships and the current production rate, Sasla sent a message to the leading council of Earth known as the UNE, United Nations of Earth. He requested humanity to temporarily abandon their current home planet of Earth, and until the soon-to-be war ends, let it become a planet under the Emperor's direct control. Humanity's population would stay on one of the less populated planets on the Empire until the war ends. The payment for the Empire's quick occupation would be war reparations from the defeated coalition. However, it was not promised that Earth would be returned to the same as it was. Clearly, Earth's surface would be destroyed along with all native life and anything humanity built. The Emperor needed his ore fast. It was clear that his offer was made in a rush and that the Emperor did not really expect humanity to actually refuse, since even though the Emperor's main fleet was not ready, for his secondary fleet could wipe out all of humanity's fleet within hours. And that was when humanity broke the first golden rule. The Emperor waited for 2 days for humanity to answer, then 4 more days, then another week. No answer came from Earth. Finally, he ordered his second Imperial fleet to destroy any human opposition that may be present on human systems and take Earth by force if needed. But the Imperial fleet did not need to lift a finger to occupy the space around Earth, because all human fleets were gone. They were expected to be at least 14 corvettes, but none of them would be seen. The commanding officer of the Second Fleet quickly sent the human leadership a message, demanding that they start abandoning Earth now, or the fleet would start an orbital bombardment. Soon after, this message was sent back from Earth, stating that the UNE refused the Empire's offer. Just a couple minutes after the message was received, the Second Fleet opened fire on Earth. They did not really want to genocide humanity, because that would cause too much political problems, but they could still destroy farms and factories to ensure that there were no resources to support humanity on Earth. Humanity would surely capitulate soon. Sadly for the Empire, it turns out that humanity had a habit of breaking rules. The fleet expected that humanity would surrender after a week. Since no trade and limited production, there would be a massive starvation. But as the second week of Earth's siege passed, it became clear that humanity was not surrendering. Pressured by the Emperor, the commanding officer finally ordered messages to the human cities around Earth to evacuate. The fleet would start bombarding population centers. Few answered, fewer accepted defeat. With it, the cities of Earth started to get destroyed, one by one. But the Empire was once again disappointed. There was no influx of refugees, messages begging them to stop or even reply. Orbital photographs of human cities showed no signs of activity. Soon after that, the fleet's officers realized what was happening. The human fleet had already carried away most of the population from Earth with the 14 lost corvettes. The remaining population was at least 90% less than what it was before the war. Most of the remaining humans were probably underground or in desolate parts of the planet. With that, the Admiralty realized that they needed to land troops on Earth to properly secure the planet. However, the orbital bombardment had destroyed most of the landing sites on Earth, so soldiers were sent with shuttles. After the necessary materials and personnel were brought into orbit, the invasion began. If only they knew how much the humans enjoyed breaking the rules. When the first shock troops landed on Earth, they expected a small, lightly armored, undisciplined human-resistant group to attack them. But once again, the humans surprised them. Not only were they all well-equipped human soldiers attacking them, but there were also Klogaris mercenaries amongst the humans. Klogaris were one of the best mercenaries in the galaxy, and they only fought for the highest bidder. How could the humans, with almost no resources or money, afford them? Unknown to the Empire, the humans had spent 2 weeks before the war digging tunnels and hiring mercenaries to defend Earth, sending the rest of the civilian population to secretly founded colonies, and it was no coincidence that they hired Klogaris mercenaries. The Klogaris were a warlike species, and they put honor above all. Joining a group of mercenaries was also considered a rite of passage for them too. And when they saw how humans resisted the Empire, even as their cities and planet was turned to ash, the Klogaris started to respect mankind. Now they were fighting against the Empire with mankind. They even refused to get paid and stayed with the humans, not for money, but for honor, and their hatred for the Empire, who considered them savage brutes. Outside Earth, things were not going great for the Empire either. The Coalition was mobilizing their forces and getting ready to attack the Empire. The invasion of Earth was the main justification for their aggression. The Empire had managed to gather some ships to defeat the Coalition, but half of their fleet was still busy sieging Earth. After another month of ground combat, the dam finally broke. The Coalition concluded that the Empire was breaking intergalactic law by trying to eliminate sentient species. The Emperor decided that Earth could not be taken, but humanity was not done yet. The 14 corvettes and the rest of the human population had not stood idle. With the new founded colonies and some outside donations, they managed to bring up the human fleet size to about half the Second Imperial Fleet. As the last day of the siege began, and the Imperial troops were being brought back to their ships, the human fleet attacked them. Because all the Second Fleet ships were busy bombarding Earth, they could not redirect fire down the new human ships fast enough. Within hours, more than half of the Second Fleet was destroyed, and the rest ran away. After the Battle of Earth concluded, one final fight took place near Empire's capital, which was quickly won by the Coalition, as the Imperial fleet was outnumbered. The next year, the last of the Emperor's planets fell, Emperor Saslos was disposed for another new emperor from one of the coalition species. Many planets and huge amounts of money were also taken from the ex-emperor and given to the UNE as a gift. From that day on, there are 4 rules that apply to all species in the galaxy, except humanity. Never fight against the Galactic Emperor alone. Never let your population starve, and always pay your mercenaries. Never invade Earth. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.